Listen, speaking of which, speaking of 35-year-old conductors or conductors who are thereabouts, you yourself have recently taken up conducting very seriously, I understand. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about this transition back and forth between performing at a very high level as a violinist and as a soloist, and now the work that you've begun doing as a conductor with professional orchestras, and with some success from what I've heard.
Yes, well, to me, I get the question a lot, of course, why do you change? Why are you doing something new? And it has made me think. And the answer is truly, Ben, is that actually I don't feel like I'm doing something new. Now, this doesn't mean that I don't recognize that conducting is a craft that must be learned as such. I absolutely am aware of that and am in the process of doing that. But the musical development seems more like an evolution. In other words, rather something of an extension of what I've always been trying to do, so that it's no longer enough for me to study or restudy the Beethoven Violin Concerto, but it's become necessary for me to occupy myself with the symphonies, as well as with the piano sonatas, although I shall not perform them, I promise you that. But at least to widen my musical horizons. And in the course of doing that, and now I'm talking within the last 10 years or so, I had very much the need, the impulse, if you will, the necessity to interpret some of these works. And so really it happened as an evolution and as an emotional inner necessity. And I think that has to be the reason to start conducting. If it's for boredom or, because you want more influence or control, is the wrong reason. But I can truly say in my case it had to be that, and the fact that it's been going with such as you said, success is of course something that makes me very happy and gives me more courage to continue.
Well, I'd look forward to hearing you in that capacity at some point. And I'd be curious also to know now, with all of these major projects that you've been working on, what you have coming up that's a particular excitement to you, and what are other facets of the violin repertoire, or perhaps the conducting repertoire, that you hope to explore in the near future?
Oh, sure. Well, it's important to me now, if we start with the conducting, is to I suffer from what I call malaria, in a bad case of trying to be funny.
Many do, unfortunately.
Many do. So I'm doing the fourth, the fifth, and the first within the next year. So
wonderful.
I've done some Bruckner symphonies already, the fourth, doing the seventh soon. My big wish, my sort of apprenticeship finishing as a conductor, if you will, or exam, is conducting the big ballet scores of Stravinsky. So that's something that I'm working consciously towards. The Sacher and the Firebird and the Petrushka. That's something that's important to me. As a violinist, long term, because I have played, fortunately, a lot of the repertoire already. What I would love to do is try and think of things in a more cyclical way. For instance, now I'm conducting all the symphonies of Schumann. I have a Brahms series in Sweden where I'm conducting all the symphonies, the choral works, the concertos, those kind of things where one is allowed to explore more than just a single work by a composer interests me very much. I did something similar just as a violinist without conducting with the London Symphony, where I played 3 different concerti, the Brahms, the Schoenberg, and the Korngold. In other words, the ways you could evolve from Brahms, Schoenberg going in one direction, Korngold in a very different one. And then we highlighted that with a chamber concert where we played the Verklärte Nacht and the Brahms Sextet. So those kind of project-based things where one gets to explore a side of music or a period in music, that interests me very much.
Well, Nikolaj, I just want to thank you so much for taking your time. I know that you're very busy in D.C., but we look forward to seeing you next week and to hearing you for the first time with the Boston Symphony Orchestra. It will be a great pleasure.
My pleasure, Ben.